This is the AMDM, your quick morning podcast full of Memphis news. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Today is Wednesday, July 1st. The herbal drug kratom is now illegal in Tennessee, and the 10 Commandments can legally be displayed in public schools. And if you stutter, you've got some new legal protection when you get pulled over by the cops. Those are just a few of the many new laws that take effect in Tennessee today. This was also a big year for new immigration laws, like one that requires government employees to have work authorization status. The U.S. Attorney's Office said yesterday that it plans to turn over 50,000 documents to Tammy Sawyer's lawyer. The documents were used to make the government's case that the Shelby County General Sessions Court clerk allegedly embezzled more than $44,000 of public money. The judge also set a tentative January 11th trial date for the Shelby County General Sessions Court clerk. If you've been following along, you know Mississippi is embroiled in a whole lot of drama over its voting maps. Last week, a federal judge ruled in favor of DeSoto County in one of several redistricting lawsuits facing the state, allowing county-wide election maps drawn in 2022 to stay in place. All that's separate from another legal fight over new legislative lines that led to the election of DeSoto County's first Black and first female state senator, and a separate fight over the state's Supreme Court lines. And now it's time for a look at one of the week's biggest stories with Mary Casciola. But stay with us after that for more of the day's news.
The new Memphis Art Museum, what you might call the next iteration of the Memphis Brooks Museum of Art, will open downtown in December. That means the grand opening is just about 6 months away, and excitement is building. Today, arts and culture editor Elle Perry and food reporter Sophia Surrett join us to talk about the most recent developments. Elle, Sophia, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Elle, let's start with you. Tell us about the new museum and when it is expected to open.
Sure. December 6th, front and Union Avenue downtown. It's getting close.
It is getting close. I've always sort of felt like when you have to have a really vibrant, awesome, to have a real downtown, really, you need a library, you need a movie theater, and you need a museum. And I guess downtown has sort of always had those things in some way or another. What are the reasons? I like the Brooks and Overton Park. I think it's a really great location. So what were the reasons to move it?
So one of the advantages that the museum folks have said for the new building is that they'll have 50% more gallery space and 600% more public space.
Okay.
And so they talk about both it being something for Memphians and also tourists as well, both being able to take advantage of the space. And just one of the things that we've talked about in the stories have been just the Brooks is built in 1916 when it opened, and
it's an elderly building,
right? And so it's been added to over the years versus this is a custom built space, brand new. And so one of the things they talked about was just sometimes it's a challenge to curate the current space because just the different parts of the building versus the new building all the gallery spaces will be just on a single loop and they'll be on the same level. And so it allows them to think about it in a different way than they are currently programming the space.
Sure. That makes total sense. Remind us, when was this project initially announced?
So I had to go back and look, and 2017 is when they first started talking about
wow,
we would like to move downtown.
I did not realize it has been that long, because that's almost 10 years.
Yeah. And so the groundbreaking was 2023. And so we've been invested in this project for a while, I guess as a city, or just watching it
definitely
as it, develops.
I definitely think there's something about this idea of downtown as the community's living room, which it's, downtown belongs to everyone, even if you don't live downtown, downtown. So it's nice to have a museum there. Okay. So in terms of it's getting really close, this past month in June, they held an event. So what were they doing? Was it we're almost done?
So the purpose of the event was to actually give the opening date, which is December 6th.
Okay.
But also to announce that for in perpetuity that admission will be free for Shelby County residents.
Yeah,
which
that's
means
great.
forever.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's turn to you, Sophia. So a few days after the announcement of the opening date and the free forever situation, there was another announcement from the museum, and this one was about the new restaurant operator. So Sophia, can you tell us who is it and what's planned for the space?
Yes, definitely. So it's a familiar face to the restaurateurs, restaurant industry community. All the people of the food. It's
The people who make our food.
the people who make the food. So John Paul Galliano, he is the co-owner of Libro, Laurelwood, also Tonica Midtown, Tonica Downtown, Echo, and now will be Libro number 2 in this 4,600 square foot space in the museum. So that'll be kind of fun, cool, having another concept of the Gallianos downtown. I mean, they just opened one like on the same street, which is it's kind of interesting to me. I'm glad there's 2 different concepts, 2 different vibes.
Yeah.
Because Libro and Laurelwood's a novel.
Right.
So I think that was also another enticing point for them to bring Libro, in his words, casual upscale vibe to the museum. But it's going to be even more upscale, according to John Paul.
Okay. So in terms of Libro, like Tonica is freestanding, Echo is freestanding, but Libro in novel is not. And I think I remember reading in your story that, or maybe we just talked about it, that Libro is not a freestanding concept in Laurelwood, and it won't be downtown either. Like, it's nice for them to put a Libro in something.
Yes, he said he doesn't think he'll ever have a freestanding Libro.
Okay.
And I think that, I don't know if that was ever on purpose, but I think it like bloomed into this like purpose of this kind of concept. And I think it's kind of cool. I mean, like who knew like you would create something that would just be in another place, but still separate. If that makes sense.
It does.
A commingle space, as people call it.
So what is the importance of the restaurant operator and it being Libro, both from the museum's point of view and from Gagliano's point of view?
So from the museum's point of view, they wanted a local family. They wanted someone that knows the Memphis community. The Memphis community knows them. They have 4 concepts. So, I mean, they have their fair share of runs of downtown restaurants. I mean,
right. This is a proven concept.
This is a proven concept,
it's not someone we don't
business.
know. It's not totally new.
Right.
People know it and they love it.
And they love it.
Yeah.
And it's Memphis. And what's more Memphis than Memphis? So that is what they were wanting to do. And Galliano, John Paul was like, this is too good to be true. Like, they're paying for the build out, everything, their revenue-based rent.
The museum is paying for the build out.
Yes, sorry.
No, that's
everyone.
okay. But that's a good deal for them.
Yeah. I mean, there's underground parking, which downtown, as a downtowner, my goodness, parking's an issue.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a big selling point for him. And just the amount of people that are going to be flowing through this building is huge for a restaurant, huge for a small business, kind of both for the Gallianos, even though they've grown their business, obviously.
Right. It's
a
good,
lot.
like recognition for them.
Yeah.
In terms of like tourists coming and it gets in front of them.
100%.
Okay. So I have a question for both of you. So obviously it's like 6 months away until the museum opens. So what's happening right now? What stage are we in?
I'll continue for a second.
Yeah. Go for it, Sophia.
The restaurant is likely going to open January 2027. The renderings are out. The design is out. Double height dining rooms, 20-seat bar, indoor outdoor seating. And I think they're like in the middle of doing that. They have the designs. They're building that out. So January 2027 is the kind of slated opening date for the restaurant.
So the restaurant will open a little bit later than the museum.
Yes, which I think is probably
makes
good.
sense.
Yeah. Ella,
Cool.
I'll let you.
Yeah.
As far as the museum itself, I think I got described as like, it looks like how it's going to look. So like, obviously there's construction barriers, but if you go down Front Street or you come down Riverside and go and look up, like it looks like, there's walls, there's glass. It looks close.
They're almost done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have a sense of like when they'll start moving in the art?
I know we talked a lot about that, and like there's like art is kind of specific, and there's a process of them having to move the art, and like they have the kind of interesting thing of like the Brooks in the Overton Park space is still operating.
Right.
And so like
people are still looking at the art.
Right.
There.
You still have, I know like there's like this coordinated dance of like, okay, operations here versus operations there, like slowing down one and ramping one up.
Right.
I can't give you like a definite, but I know that there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for you, Elle. Do we have a sense of what the Brooks building in Overton Park might become?
No.
So it could become a Libro. Yeah. Okay. So all options are still sort of on the table.
So it's been a few months since I reached out to the city officially and asked about this. But like at that point, there wasn't a plan for the space. You know, like that's a city owned.
Yes.
The city owns that. So like
that's a good reminder.
The city's responsibility / job, I guess, to figure out like what will happen to it and then like, you know, maintenance or upkeep. And so something that is kind of interesting is you're going to have the Metal Museum space, like the Rust Hall space. They're going to be open like
in Overton Park
in September.
Yes.
And so like there will be like a short period of time where the Brooks is still open and like the Metal Museum will be open at the same time. Like it's like a few months, but like there's like a very small overlap.
Yeah.
Which kind of my brain likes interesting things like that. Like, oh, for like 2 months in time or like whatever, however many months.
Yes.
That's a TBD thing or to be announced thing.
Right. And we don't know. Do we know when the Brooks will close?
I don't know that for sure.
Yeah. I just wondered if they had that date.
Yeah.
Like this is the drop dead date of
anyway. And like that doesn't mean they don't know that. That means I just don't know.
Sure. I mean the logistics are what they are.
Right.
Well, awesome. This is a really exciting development. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, more news.
Ace Hardware in East Memphis will close by the end of July. Noah McLean says store owner Janelle Carter said she decided not to renew the lease, citing a drop in sales and rising rent.
Customers are met with a store closing sign as they walk up to the store, located at 5143 Quince Road. And the inside is stocked with seasonal items like ceramic snowbirds or Thanksgiving and graduation-themed yard signs, sitting on half-empty shelves. Employee Maya Stallings said another Ace Hardware is opening in Tipton County in 2027, but did not know if any current employees would be transferring. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Noah McLean.
IKEA announced in February it was closing its store in Cordova, its only Tennessee location. Now, Andy Ashby says the global home furnishings brand is listing the property at 7900 IKEA Way for sale.
The property, owned by IKEA Property Incorporated, is being listed for a variety of potential buyers. Retail buyers are directed to contact real estate firm TSCG, while industrial buyers are asked to call CBRE, according to marketing materials. The asking price was not listed, but the building and land were appraised for nearly $46 million, according to the Assessor of Property website. The property has flexible zoning, which could support commercial, warehouse, or mixed-use redevelopment. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Andy Ashby.
Ori Matcha Bar owners Cameron and Dean Park launched their 4-foot matcha cart less than a year ago, and they've already added a second cart. Sophia Surratt says come fall, they plan to look for a brick-and-mortar location.
The parks use the carts to hold pop-ups at different businesses and restaurants, such as the Edge District's Ugly Art Co. After launching the first cart, the couple waited a few months to ensure demand was steady. Then, Dean Park quit his job to focus full-time on Udi. But Cameron Park still works in software and information technology consulting full-time. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Sophia Surratt.
That's the AMDM for this Wednesday, July 1st. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Find links to all of the stories mentioned in this episode in the podcast description. Listen and subscribe to this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or on the Daily Memphian's website. You can also hear us on WYXR 91.7, where our local news stories air every weekday throughout the day. And don't forget to subscribe to our other weekly podcasts hosted by your favorite reporters, including Soundbites with Holly Whitfield, The Sidebar with Eric Barnes, Barnes, and the Daily Memphian Grizzlies podcast with Drew Hill and Chris Harrington. You can also sign up for our breaking news alerts and our many weekly newsletters we offer, like the early word that you heard at the top of this podcast, by visiting dailymemphian.com/email. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to start your day here again tomorrow.